Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Hey traders, John Howell here, and in this video I'm going to be covering just an update on all the indices and the markets and stuff like that. So that's what I want to be covering in today's session. Let me just bring up, I just want to bring up a bit more of a blank chart, something with just one moving average on here. Okay, so I want to bring up this chart here. I'm going to bring up Dow Jones, be looking at silver and gold as well too, and also the GDX as well too, and the miners and stuff like that. Now, the one thing that I do see that's going on right now in the stock market itself is something that I'm continuing to see time and time again, and it's creating, to me, it's really interesting that I'm seeing right now in the markets. Okay, I'm part of a Facebook group that I'm on right now. It's like an investor and trader group and I just watch that and I monitor. I watch that and I like to watch it, and there's a lot of people in there, so there's thousands and thousands of people in this group, and I don't use it for buying sell signals. You should never do that. I'm going to talk more about that a bit later on, but someone said on my yesterday's video saying, I've lost so much money from your advice. Bullshit. Absolutely bullshit. No, you haven't lost money from my advice. My advice is not to place a trade based on just a YouTube video. You're the idiot who would actually do that. Why would you do that? You should only be getting into a trade that you believe in. That's where my coaching program, or even my Master Trader Lab, is to teach you some systems that you believe in and slowly work up. If you're saying, oh, I'm going to go short because this YouTube video says we're probably likely to fall off the cliff, take responsibility for your own actions. You know, you're gambling here. I've said this many times. I'm going to say it again. I do these market updates for you right now, as I'm doing right now for you. And I'm sharing with you what I'm seeing from a chart perspective, right? But that doesn't, I'm not going to trade that. When do I trade? If you guys were on my session yesterday, I did a live session. It was more like an introduction session to the way I trade and so on and so forth. You will see that whether it's a weekly chart, daily chart, 2-minute chart, I follow the exact same set of rules 95% of the time. The other 5% of the time, I take advantage of, like when the market crashed at the start of the year. As you guys know, I bought the S&P 500 and it ripped. Where were you who said you lost money? Did you do that? Also, you know that I bought JP Morgan. I made a loss in that one. And you also know that I bought Apple and I made over 200% return on that one. You guys, I was very, very public about my positions there when it came to Apple there. But that's 5% of my trades. I only do that when the market has a massive crash. I'm looking to buy the dip. 95% of the time, I'm sticking to a very same system, and I walked through that yesterday. So guys, I really do mean this. If you want to become part of this trading world, I really do mean this, guys. If you want to become part of this trading world and you want to do well out of trading itself, then you must abide by or follow the foundational rules that makes you do well in the market. That is, one, what system are you consistently following? Don't be going short or long because someone said it was a good idea, or Ray Dalio said something, or Warren Buffett did this, or Donald Trump this. No, don't be doing that. That is gambling. That is hope. And even if you did do that and you made money, you were wrong. You were absolutely wrong in the markets. And because guess what happens? Next time you're like, oh, you know, I got that right. Last time I was right. No, you were wrong because you got into something that was just a gamble and you got lucky and it did well. What happens next time? Let's say next time you actually did the exact same thing. All right, let's actually do this here. I'm going to do this here. Now I'm going on the tangent right now, but I really want to focus on. I'll get to the markets in just a minute. Okay, let's just say, for example, you had a $10,000 trading account, right? And the first gamble, Donald Trump said, you know, go long oil. Oh, I'm going to go long oil. So you put $1,000 down, and oil takes off, right? Oil takes off, and then suddenly you made 50% return on your money. Yeehaw, right? So you made $1,500. And then the next second thing, you're like, you know, you watched something else, and then something else gave you the insider secrets. Bullshit. No one knows the insider secrets. I don't even know what's going to happen. That's what's called an edge of probability with a win-loss ratio. Some are losses, most are profits, rinse, recycle, repeat. Same system. Again, if you guys were on my sessions yesterday, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But what happens the next time, right? Remember, this is not following any system. This is based on, okay. oh, Ray Dalio, he knows what he's talking about, right? He said that we're at the top of the market. So, we're definitely not going to make any new time high. So, you know what? I'm going to go short because he knows what I'm talking about. He knows what he's talking about. You know what? Last time I did really, really well. This time I'm gonna buy $2,000 this time. Because I got it right last time. Let's go $2,000. And let's say, for example, you bought at a time and it did drop, and you got it for another 50%, right? You made $1,000. You're like, yeah, I made some money. And let's say you did it a third time, right? This time you put $4,000 down. And you made another, let's just say here you made 100% return on options. Oh my goodness, you took, I don't know, Warren Buffett sold a stock, and so you went and short that stock as well too, because you see how there's no consistency here? Where is your consistency? If you want consistent results, be consistent at trading the markets. Trading a system, your edge. Oh, look, I got it right. Oh, I am so good. Oh, I cannot believe this. Look, I've made so much money from trading these markets, and I've done so well from trading these markets, and oh my goodness, I am the king. No, you're not. I'm the king shit, right? This is exactly what I heard so many people say with Bitcoin when it rallied up to 17,000, 19,000. Oh, John, you don't know what you're talking about. I made $500,000 trading Bitcoin. 2 years later, they come to me saying I've just lost my house because I bought even more and I thought I was right. So back with that story is that my whole thing is like I don't care what you can do once or twice or three times. What I care about is what can you do repeatedly for the rest of your life to know that you and your family will never starve ever again. That's what I care about you doing, not getting it lucky or you being right. There is you doing this. Donald Trump, tick. Oh yes, he got it right. Ray Dalio, tick. Oh, Warren Buffett, tick. Yes, that's gambling, right? So what have you made here? 4, 5. You've made, call it. There's 4, 5. You made $5,500. So your account right now is at 15,500, right? Yeah, you are just absolutely this. And then guess what happens through here? Guess what happens? You are just trade number 4. You're like, oh, I've got this. Oh, man, I can't lose money. I've got this. And trade number 4, because you take another bet, right? There's a bet word. You take the next bet on the markets, which you should be doing that anyway. But that's the next bet you take, right? Because you know what? Oh my goodness, I watched this YouTube video and it went for like half an hour long and it gave all this rhyme or reasons why, I should be getting long this stock or this particular stock. Oh my goodness, it is the next best thing. And oh my goodness, this thing is going to explode and you get sucked in. Maybe it's whatever, right? And you get sucked in. You're like, you know what? I've been right these last 3 times. So what do? You load the entire account up here. And what happens to the entire account? You hold on for that. It goes against you. Your account's down. It goes against you. It's up $10,000, but you don't know how to take a loss because that's how a trading system works, right? Some are losses, most are profits. Right? You got to take your losses, but you don't know how to take a loss because you're right and your ego can't even take that loss anymore. And so you're like, oh my goodness, I've had all these 3 trades and I've been right on all this money. I can't take a loss right now. What am I going to do? Oh my goodness, I'm going to hold on. And then suddenly what you start to do is like, oh, there's a support level here. And look at this. Oh, look at this 5,262 moving average is pulling up. Oh my goodness, I'm long this stock and oh my goodness, it's going to work. It's going to work. It's going to work. And then it keeps breaking through. You're like, oh, you know what? Oh, look at this stochastic indicator. The 642 setting divided by the 432 star sign. Oh my goodness, look, it's starting to point up right now. It's oversold. It's going to start to pick back up. And then the market continues down and now you're down to $5,000. And this, by the way, this has been like, 2-3 months now and the stock's getting absolutely tanked and you're long this stock right now or long this market right now and it's tanking and the market keeps going down and down and down and the market drops 80% and you lost almost 80% of your profits there and you're like, oh my goodness, oh. And then suddenly that stock or that thing you get in, you get out, you either get out with maybe $2,000 left to your account, maybe even less, or worse, the whole thing goes belly up and you lose everything
Maybe there's an option on a penny stock trade or something like that. And you've gone from, this is your account. You've gone from, let me see if I can change this color here. All right. You're going from make a little money, make a little bit of money, make a little bit of money. And this is your zero line. Right? Traders, I have done this so many times. It's why I've got the shirt. Do not be placing a trade based on these market update videos. It is the wrong thing to do. Okay? It is absolutely the wrong thing to do. Because, guys, as I said before, I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. But in the nutshell, in the scheme of things, right? In the big picture of things, that's not how successful trading is done. What is your system that you follow? What is that? Okay? So what does it look like? What's the set of rules you trade? What's the setup? What's the pattern look like? What's the entry signal look like? All that sort of stuff. Where's your stop? How are you going to manage trade? All that sort of stuff goes in the system, right? We have the pattern. We have the stop, or we have the entry off the pattern. We have the stop, and we have the management of it, right? The pattern and the entry, they stay the same. Pattern, entry, and stop stay the same. Management, that's the harder part, right? It's like, when do you get out? That's always the hard part. And you can do that as time goes on. So that's there. But then the fact is that if this has a this system has a 70% win-loss ratio, that means out of 10 trades, 7 are profits, 3 are losses. That means 70% win-loss ratio. Then you have, and then when you do take a trade based on this system that you're following, right? Guess what? That every time you take a trade, you don't know whether this trade here you take that meets this plan is going to be part of this in the win-loss ratio, or this in the loss-and-loss ratio. You never know up front. All you know is that if you took this same system 10 times in a row, that 7, maybe even 8 times out of 10, it's going to generate a nice profit for you. But you never know up front, right? So that's the reason why with every single trade, you have good risk management to say, if this trade here is a loss and it's part of the loss in the win-loss ratio, then I've protected myself. Also, on the flip side, if it is a profit, I can potentially make a nice profit. Rinse, recycle, repeat. And if you know anything about options or anything like that, you know, you might say, okay, I'm trading options here, and maybe say, you know what, my average loss is 30%. Average loss is 30%, but then my average profit is, say, 80%, right? These are just rough numbers here. 80%, but 70% of the time I'm going to do this, 30% of the time I'm going to do this. Again, but when the trade appears, you never know whether this trade is going to be a losing trade. You never know. No one knows up front that day, right? And then you do this, and you rinse, recycle, repeat for the rest of your life. The market never, ever. Market might go through bullish phases, bearish phases, and all that sort of stuff. If you have to keep changing systems, you are trading the wrong system. The way that I trade the markets, bull markets, bear markets, sideways markets, it doesn't matter. It works. Why does it work? It works because it has a win-loss ratio, right? And in fact, my system is so high probability that when you get the absolute perfect situation, it's like almost 100% success rate. Now, those trades don't come along that often, but when they do, it's like almost 100%. Almost 100% of those things are gonna make a profit. And guys, I know that may be hard to believe. It's like, oh, whatever, John. But no, it's true. Ask my private clients. When you get the perfect situation, the perfect setup, show me that it doesn't even. Show me that trade doesn't even make a small profit. You know, a 30 or 40 or 50% profit on using options here, because it's the truth. So that's what I care about. So the person yesterday who started having a bit of a go at me saying, I've lost so much money, because when you get up in the morning, or if you do, get up and have a shower, hope you do, and you brush your teeth, and you look at that mirror, see that person, oh yeah, that's the guy, that's who's responsible, the person in the mirror, right? So anyone that's watching this video here right now, if you want the path for you, if you actually want to do well out of this thing called trading, this world called trading, then you must abide and follow the foundational fundamental rules that goes into a good trader. Everything I said here, and your job is just to be consistently showing up every day, maybe running your scans or looking for your trades. Discipline to only take in those trades when this setup appears, and patience. I don't care what you say. If this is the system you chose to follow, and you know, no matter what's happening, whether it's a bull market or bear market, that you know you can still trade both. Guess what? Patience. I don't care if you have to wait a whole month. And I said this a while ago. People said, "Oh, John, you don't understand. I've got a whole month, especially when I'm starting out." I can't do that. Yes, you can. Because what's the other thing? You don't take your system trades with good risk management. It has a win-loss ratio, and over the year you can do well. Then you start to do this. These big red boxes are what we call shit trades for a whole month. And not these shit trades here, guess what? Not only will the win-loss ratio be like a 60% loss to 40% win, but now you're going to make small profits and big losses. You know what I'm talking about, right? So traders, this is the 10,000 foot view that if you want to be part of these markets and you actually want to trade the market for an income. And what I mean by that, most people get even that wrong. Income simply means that some months there's not going to be any trade, so there's not going to be any income for that month. But next month there might be, right? And the next month there might be more, and next month after that there might be less. But if you average it out throughout the entire year, you're like, oh, I just did $200,000 this year. But I can see 2 months of this year I had no trades. Thank you very much. I'm so proud of myself that I didn't take all these other shit trades that caused me to go backwards. You know what I'm talking about, right? If you've been in the markets for a long time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So anyway, I didn't plan on saying that or going into this detail here, guys, but I hope you can see this is the foundational, the fundamental rules that goes into you doing really, really well. If you don't follow what I teach you here, guys, you'll never do well. You'll do exactly what I said at the start of the session, where you may get it right? Ego, yes, I got it right. Fight, win, I'm the best. And then suddenly, 12 months later, you're blown out of the markets because you haven't been following these foundational rules of what system are you following. Take every trade. Some are going to be losses. Most are going to be profits. You never know which one's going to be a profit or a loss. Follow the exact same system every time. When there's no trade, you don't trade. Rinse, recycle, repeat. That's how you do well long term. With all that being said, let's start with the market update now. So I'm still looking at the Dow Jones right now, guys, and we have had a massive move down, and we're still going through a period of really not much going on through here. Really not much going on here on a weekly chart. But when I bring up my support and resistance signs, I can still see that there's a lot of areas of resistance through here. So even if we do get this little pop to the upside, look at this here, right? The support level through here. There's a bit of support level through here. There's a little bit of support level through here as well too. Right, so as you can see, look at all of that. All right, and same for the S&P 500. This is the S&P 500 weekly chart. Like, even if we do get a little bit more upside, it's like, guys, we're no longer doing a V-shaped recovery anymore. This is something different here. And so if I look at my daily chart, we're going through a massive time phase right now where it's very unpredictable and very unpredictable and very volatile. What I mean by that is that whenever we're in a price move, that's where you want to be, right? So when the market's moving up, you want to try to jump in on there somewhere. When the market starts to go sideways like this, volatile, you don't know where it's going to break, right? That's what's happening right now. We had a price move up, which means the market moved in a direction. Then we had a sideways phase where the market actually started to do not much, right? Volatile, up and down. I actually thought that it was going to start to roll over here because it's double top. It didn't. You can see it bounced up. Again, I didn't trade my thought because it wasn't my system. And you can see it actually gapped up from here as well too. One thing I am noticing right now, and this is actually something to keep an eye out for, is that on the S&P 500, we have this gap through here, right? So what can happen sometimes, depending on what actually happens through here, do we come down and fill this gap or not? Because there could be something here, guys. if this gap here, if the market gaps up and we do this, but then it gaps back down and we continue down like that, guess what? This is now what we call an island reversal. It's happened so many times. It happens so much times at tops and bottoms of the market. So if the market gaps up and does nothing, and then gaps down, and then we continue down below this support level, and we start to do something like this, that was probably the top, and we're probably likely to start doing something like this here, at least down to the 21. I don't know if we're going to make new lows, but I don't see the overall S&P 500 and the Nasdaq and the Dow Jones really making all-time new highs, or maybe even making all-time new lows. We're probably just going to keep going sideways through here to keep continuing to build what I believe is just one big massive long-term topping pattern through here. So maybe something like this here. I don't believe we're going to make a new high. I don't believe we're going to make a new low. That will also then create the shoulder ahead, and then also shoulder. That's what I believe that's going to happen. And then once we start to break these levels through here, it's going to be all over Red Rover for that there. Now, guys, this is what I'm seeing on the indices right now, okay? Nasdaq is just a different kettle of fish itself too. Nasdaq's probably going to make all-time new highs. Why? Because all the tech stocks right now are doing amazing profits. So I believe the decoupling, the Nasdaq is probably going to do its own thing, and the Dow Jones is going to do its own thing. Maybe we're going to go through a time phase, a period where the Nasdaq, which is pulled by all the big tech stocks, Amazon, Amazon, we've got Netflix there, we've got Apple, Facebook, all those big companies, right, are dragging this up here, right? Even if you look at actually Facebook actually blew up all-time new highs. So just because I say something about the indices right now, it doesn't mean that applies to the individual stocks, right? So Nasdaq, well, if you look at Nasdaq, right, Nasdaq actually hasn't made all-time new highs, but if you look at Netflix, hey, easy, where's that? Netflix is already at all-time new highs. If you look at Amazon, same thing. Amazon at all-time new highs. Facebook, once again, at all-time new highs. Apple, almost at all-time new highs. It's probably going to get there as well too. What about Google? Same thing with Google as well too. I believe Google is going to continue to come up and get into that gap as well too. I actually have a target of Google, which is at the top of this channel, which is 1400. Went below this level, and now we're racing back up again as well too. So the purpose of me saying that there, guys, is one, there's a lot of opportunities through the individual stocks. Secondly, don't be swayed by what the indices are doing for your decision based on the individual stock, and so on and so forth. So I hope you can see what's going on there and what I'm doing through there, guys, and also the Nasdaq, as I said before, the Nasdaq's well too. But maybe the Nasdaq's going to start to, over the next couple of years, the Nasdaq's going to do one thing, and the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones are going to do another thing through there. Looking under through silver and gold, and now we're actually getting a potential pullback out of this here. We look at this here, guys. The market's failing right now. All right, the market is failing. Look at this here. We actually we pushed up, and now we're just going sideways. It looks like we're trying to break down from here. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see silver and gold get a breakdown from here. Gold get a breakdown. That may even cause a little bit of a pullback with silver, but ultimately I have a target of silver around 1850 at least. And then on that weekly chart, once you break that 1850, my projection is up at $24. My only hope for me as a trading perspective is that I get some sort of a trade, whether it's a long-term trade, right? Whether it's a long-term trade or whether it's a short-term trade, a long-term trade meaning on the weekly charts, or even just a short-term trade as well too when it comes to that. Obviously, I'll be trading the SLV. This is the SLV price. So the SLV price, I have a target up here of around that. Let me bring up the daily charts of that 1750 level there. We may get some form of a pullback here, guys, but I ultimately believe we're likely to scoop back up and continue running from here. Once we break that level on the SLV, man, look at this here. Silver's going to go ballistic, guys. Silver's going to absolutely go ballistic. Over time, okay? All right? So people think, oh, he said it's going to go ballistic and it went down today. You're wrong, John. No. All right? Over time, right? Pumpkins? Right. But also on the GDX and GDXJ, guys, the market is continuing to make this massive move to the upside. This is the wrong Wrong time to be buying. I even did a coaching session, a little live session with my coaching clients today before doing this YouTube video. And I was saying the same thing to them, right? Like, guys, don't, right? Everything's based on probability, right? If you're looking to buy and hold a stock, when the market makes a big move like this here, guys, don't be throwing your emotions at it. Don't be a sheep. Don't be a herd. Don't be a follower, right? What are you doing right now? You're waiting for the market to go up. What's likely to happen here? Market goes up and then we get a pullback. We're probably likely to get something like this soon, right? And probably over the next 2 or 3 months, we're probably likely to get a pullback. Doesn't mean we've changed the trend. We're still in an upward trend, right? But if you're looking for a better time, wait for a big dip. At least maybe it'll dip down to 30, because that's the next support level there, right? Maybe even down to there. Maybe that'll be a much better time to buy it if we do get down there than right now. Oh, but oh my God, John, you don't understand. What if it takes off without me? That's okay. That's okay. Trading's about probability, guys. Low probability right now, all right? And we're probably likely to get some form of a pullback right now out of the markets. So just be patient. Again, this is a weekly chart, guys. So probably over the next maybe couple of weeks, maybe even the next couple of months, I believe we're likely to start doing something like this. Bit of a pullback down to the 30 level, which would be very, very good for GDX, by the way. And when that happens, maybe then you'll want to start to look to get into it. But I'm not telling you what to do, guys, because it could just fall through the floor, right? And then same for the GDXJ as well too, right? Big, massive move up, guys. Don't look what's happening right now. Look at this. Look at this little candlestick pattern we're forming right now on this weekly chart. That there is what that's there is a very, very, very strong reversal pattern. So if we're getting this right now and we're at these look at this here. At this major resistance level back here after making a big, massive move up, what's likely to happen? At least a nice pullback, right? At least a pullback to the 30% level, which could be down there. So if you're buying it now and we drop down there, which is almost a 20% drop, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. The market is against me. Every time I go long, it goes against me. Every time I try to short the market, Right? No, come on, guys. Right? So anyway, guys, on an absolute serious note, and what I've been saying through here, guys, it's like, be smart about the way you're doing things, okay? The market's going to be here tomorrow and the next day and the next day. The question is, are you, right? 90% of my cash is in my bank account. No, 90% of my cash is actually in my accounts, right? Or I've actually got split up, right? So I got more than 50% of my actual overall cash in my bank account. And then when it comes to my trading account, I've only got 10% of my account right now in the markets. And both of those are absolutely just taken off like a rocket. And for you guys that were on my session yesterday, my live session, you would know the exact trades I'm in right now. I share with you the trades I was in. Okay, so that's it for me, guys. I know this has been a long one, but guys, you can do so well for these markets. You can just slow down. Okay, breathe. You may be in a period where you've maybe made some losses. You may be looking to revenge trade to get back in the markets. Don't do that. I actually did that just recently. The old Johnny would have just held, hoped, and prayed. The new Johnny just simply says, you know what? I'm making this up. I'm revenge trading. I need to get out of this thing and pull away from the markets maybe for a few days or maybe for just a little bit of time to get my head right, then to come back in the markets. If you've made some losses in the markets, guys, don't keep throwing in the money in the markets, because I promise you, over time, you're going to say these words, I just wish I never traded at all. And also, you may even say, man, I just wish I was back at break even. I just want to get back to break even. Please get back to break even. Right? And I have the t-shirt for that so many times. And that's why I can say to you guys that this is what's likely to happen in the markets. You can do so well, guys. You really, really, really can. Breathe, relax, follow some system that you believe in 100% of the time. And just because you may have a couple of losing trades in a row, depending on your system, right? If you have a lot of trades, the way that the scale works, of probability, right? If we have let's just call this a scale. Actually, no, let's do this here. Let's say this, for example, this is a scale, right? This is up here around the 90% success rate. Okay, and this is down here, and let's say this is a 90% success rate, and then we've got let's say something's down to say a 50% success rate, right? So that's a 90% success rate and a 50% success rate. What also happens is this as well too, is that the flip side also happens as well too, right? So it's a bit of an axe here, where this here, up here, just say for example, this is 100 up here, right? And call this 10 down here, right? What does that mean? That if we have a dotted line through here, we can see there's a direct correlation to that. The more trades you take, the more trades your system produces, the lower the win-loss ratio. It doesn't mean it's not going to be a successful trade, but the lower the win-loss ratio is going to be. The higher the success rate of the system, the not many trades is going to be, right? And I'd rather be here. Why? Even if I start with a $5,000 trading account, how can you build the confidence over time? So maybe even 2 years from now, you can start to do $20,000 a trade and start to really, really kill it in the markets overall. How can you do a $20,000 trade? How can you do a $50,000 trade with confidence? You can't do that over here, right? You're like, oh, I'm going to stick to my $1,000 position because, I'm getting a lot of losses and a lot of profits. I don't know. And this one here, this is the worst mistake that most traders make. So it's a bit of an axe here. This is the way of the things. So more actually doesn't equal more in the markets, by the way. Because I guarantee you, because this is also a lot of trades over here, guess what happens? You make a lot of mistakes, right? So then you end up down like a 30% win-loss ratio. So 30% of the time you're making a profit, a win. 70% of the time you're making a loss. Why? Because there's going to be a lot of mistakes because there's a lot of trades, there's a lot of trading activity there, and guess what ends up happening? You actually even get out of trades too early when you shouldn't, right? Because you're emotional trading, and some of those trades that you should have stayed in actually made a profit, therefore your lower win-loss ratio. And guess what you say? Oh, this trading thing is rigged, it's not against me. No, all right? You got to understand this axle here is the way the markets work. That's why with my coaching and the way that I do things, I focus on this here, building a strong foundation. So as you grow your account and as you grow your confidence, you have the confidence to eventually put on 50, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 per trade. Maybe that's your plan over the next 5 years. And with that sort of position and with the system there, you too can become a 7-figure trader in the markets. What does that mean? They're making more than $1 million a year from trading. It's possible you can do that with, say, a 5-year plan. That's why, guys, if you ever hear traders going from, a $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000 trading account, and before you know it, in 3, 4, 5 years, they're doing, they're doing a couple of $100,000 a month, or they're doing a couple $1 million a year. Why? Because 1, they follow their system, and 2, they understand this situation through here. So understand that whatever system you choose, if it's a lot of trade, it's going to be a low win-loss ratio, and you're probably going to suck at that big time. For me, I can't do a lot of trades thing in the markets because of that reason. Right? I'm an emotional person as well too. I get emotional about my trading as well too. Right now, I do whatever I can to minimize that, which is the trades I'm getting into, the type of option I'm buying as well too, and my risk management. So if it is a losing trade, I'm protecting myself as well.
Hey traders, John Howell here. Thanks for watching my video. For a limited time only, I am giving away free access to my brand new trading course. I've put all my most powerful systems, strategies, and trading techniques that I've learned over the last 15 years and put it in this course, and I'm giving it away for free for a limited time. See, in this brand new Go to the Markets by the Balls trading course, and you can get it when you go to johnsfreegift.com, you're going to learn, firstly, you're going to get access to a brand new training that goes for 90 minutes, and you're going to learn all the details step by step to my #1 trading system with over a 90% success rate that works on any market and any time frame. You're also going to learn 3 powerful chart reading and trading techniques. You're also going to learn 2 more powerful trading systems, and also you're going to learn 7-figure trading secrets, mindset techniques, and so much more. There's top 13 mistakes you're going to learn, the 10K per month formula, and so much more. No, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme, but if you are struggling with your trading right now and you need help, then for a limited time, you can get free access to this. So go to johnsfreegift.com right now, or click on the very first thing in the description, because for a limited time, I'm giving away. So go to johnsfreegift.com right now and start getting access to this full complete trading course, plus also the free training with my #1 trading system with over 90% success rate. Go do that right now, and I'll see you on the next page.